Hi guys, Level Up here. So, with the release of 1.8, we saw a lot of players either returning to the division or picking it up as new. And if you're new to the game, then it means you would have missed out on the previous global event, which was called Assault. And in Assault, you had the chance to get Striker, Sentry, and Reclaimer as classified gear sets. So, given that the RNG is so bad at the moment and trying to pick up classified sets from in-game activities outside of the global events is very low, I thought I'd put together a build guide for how to run Sentry just based on the standard 4-piece gear set, which is still quite strong. And given that the next Assault global event won't be for another 3 months, this could see you through pretty well for the next 3 months until you manage to get hold of a full classified Sentry set. So the premise of this build is stacking as much stability as you possibly can in order to get those 3 headshots off in quick succession so that your teammates are going to get 15% extra damage to all the enemies that you tag. The focus is not on you dealing as much damage, so you're there to debuff the NPCs. And to do that, we're also going to be using status effects. And to understand how we're going to be doing that, let's dive into the build. So here's an overview of the build. So running around 4,000 stamina, 4,000 electronics, and everything else will go into firearms. The reason for that is we need to unlock certain talents on our weapons. So Destructive needs almost 4,000 stamina, and Cool-Headed requires almost 4,000 electronics. So we need that much for the talents, and those talents are fairly crucial. The rest of the build, so the gear is 3-piece Sentry, 1 Deadeye, and 1 Striker with a Ninjabike. I do have some classified pieces here. Don't worry if you don't. This is the whole point of this build. It's there for if you don't have full sets of classified. I happen to have 1 or 2 pieces, so I've put them together. But all it's going to mean is that you're 100 off on certain stats, which isn't going to make a massive difference if you don't have the classified version. So the Deadeye's given us that 40% initial bullet stability, which is what you want on marksman rifles for stability. We're also getting extra stability from the Striker 2-piece. And this is where the build is flexible, so you don't have to run the Striker piece. If you're with a healer, you might find more use out of a vigorous chest. In the run that I did, we had a good healer, we had a good reclaimer, a strong healing station, and I found that I wasn't really getting downed, so I didn't need to go for vigorous. I would rather have the extra stability, but you can kind of pick and choose this piece as you see fit. If you're doing heroic incursions, for example, you might want to choose 1-piece defense to get the 15% protection from elites. If you're doing something like Dragon's Nest, you might prefer 1-piece final measure to get the 25% exotic damage resilience. Or if you're getting the killing blow on a number of NPCs, you might find that you want to use Nomad to get the health on kill. So this is quite flexible, so you can either go stability, you can go skill haste if you want to do tactician, you can go vigorous, you can go final measure, you can do whatever you want pretty much. And the weapons are an SVD, and this is going to be the weapon we use to inflict the rapid succession sentry marks on the targets. And we're also running with a bolt action that hits very hard. So once you've got those 3 stacks on and you want to do some damage yourself, switch to the secondary and you'll be hitting well over 1 million headshots. So that's a good combination to go for. We're also running with a First Wave X45 with Cool-Headed again, and Toxic. Toxic's a very, very, very good talent for this build, because you're most likely going to be basically blinding pretty much every NPC you go for, and when they're blinded, they just sort of flail their arms around and just kind of stand there out in the open. It takes them out of cover as well, which is great. So it allows your team just to basically unload on the NPCs. The skills we're going with, we're just going to run Tactical Scanner, and we're going to run Booster Shot, We don't necessarily get much healing because we haven't got much skill power. These aren't very strong skills, but they're just there to kind of support the team. If you've already got somebody running a strong pulse, then switch out pulse for something like the sticky bomb flashbang, because again it's just going to get enemies out of cover so that you can basically shoot at their head. And that's the number one thing in legendary mode, where enemies just duck behind cover. You're going to want to get them out of cover, and the flashbang sticky is very good for that. Talents, we're going to be running with Combat Medic because we're in a group, so you should always run this this talent in a group. We're also running Precision to pulse every NPC that we headshot, because we're going to be aiming for the head all the time. Steady Hands to give us that extra stability and accuracy bonus when we're in cover. And One is None, because again we're always going for the head. So that ability to not consume the bullet on a headshot is completely required in this build. So let's just go into a little bit more detail. So the main backbone of this build is this SVD that we're running. It's not maxed out, unfortunately. It came with a rather low damage roll, so we're not hitting very hard, but again that isn't necessarily the point of this weapon. So it's got Harmful, it's got Cool-Headed, and it's got Toxic. And if you've got somebody running an MDR in your team, they're going to love you, because you're going to be putting bleed and blind status effects on pretty much every NPC you hit. The Harmful one, actually, it doesn't do much. It doesn't do a lot of damage to the NPCs when they're bleeding, and it doesn't seem to slow them down or do anything really, but it's not a bad one. It's probably better in PvP. If you were going to choose to get rid of one of these talents, I would replace Harmful with anything else. You can use something like Destructive, because this is going to be a PvE build, so Destructive is going to give you more damage, or potentially something like Skilled or Determined, although they have very high electronics requirements. Probably Destructive I'd go for. The two key ones are Cool-Headed and Toxic. So we're not running much skill haste because we don't need to. We're going to be hitting the head all the time if we've got good aim. And that's going to basically bring our skills back. And Toxic is just, like I said, it's going to take the enemies out of cover. It's going to make them sort of stand out in the open and be sitting ducks for you and your team to deal more damage. The mods... just all headshot damage. I've gone with range on the grip. You don't necessarily need to. When we're in cover, we've certainly got enough accuracy and stability with everything else on the gear. So you could go with crit damage if you want, but again, we're not looking to deal huge amounts of damage with this weapon. So the range is just there to give us a bit more damage further away from the targets, because the SVD doesn't have much range. So headshot on both of those, standard extended mag. We don't need rate of fire because we're mostly limited to sort of aiming for the head, so we can't spam much faster than the rate of fire that you get from an SVD anyway. And our secondary is a classic M44. The reason for that is it's the hardest hitting of all the MMRs in the game, so we want something that's going to be dealing a lot of damage. So this is for once we've marked an enemy. It's normally for the heavies. So once you've got your 3 stacks on the heavy shield guys, running something like this with, I've got Destructive, Brutal and Balance. They're not the world's best talents. I like Balance just because it does allow you to pop those quick shots out of cover. But it's going to give us like over 1 million per headshot. So once the target's fully stacked up. So it's definitely worth having a hard-hitting secondary weapon. Probably a better talent than Balance would be Prepared, but those, Prepared definitely I think is the best one to go for a third, just from a pure damage standpoint. So the gear, like I said, we just want to focus on our main attributes. Don't worry too much about everything else. We want to hit that 4,000 stamina, 4,000 electronics, and then everything else in firearms. This is a classified striker's vest. I've got EDR as a major. That's very useful, I think. I think it's always useful to, given that we can roll 2 attributes on the vest. Health, definitely go for, and then EDR is also a very strong second. You can roll enemy armor damage, but I wouldn't really. I don't think it's worth it. It's better to have at least a bit of extra resilience from grenades and stuff from the NPCs. And this one's rolled to firearms. We've got ammo capacity on the major, and then we've got electronics and skill power on the mods. It's just to give us a bit more skill power. Obviously, you can swap these out for health, just to give you a bit more survivability if you want. But like I say, if you've got a healer in the team, or you know, a reclaimer or a tactician healer, you shouldn't need more health than that. The mask is a Sentry mask. Again, firearms. We've got enemy armor damage and damage to elites. And this is an electronics and health mod. This one here is a very low score basic Sentry knee pads. We've got almost a bottom armor roll here, but we've got health and we've got damage to elites. We've got burn and disorient. Ideally, you'd probably want burn and bleed resistance, health and firearms with a higher armor roll. But yeah, this is definitely the weak link in my build. I'm desperately searching for some classified Sentry knee pads, but you know, RNG hates me sometimes. So the Ninjabike for the backpack is rolled to stamina. That's definitely the one piece we need for stamina. I've also got stability on it, and it's also got burn resistance. Again, we probably don't want burn. We'd rather have bleed or ammo capacity for what we're doing. Stability again is good. It just gives us even more stability when we're trying to nail those headshots. Obviously, you've got alternatives. You can go for more health or skill power if you want, but stability is, I find, quite a strong attribute on the backpack. And then as the mods, we're going to be running with electronics and health. And then we've got 2 first aid self-heal mods as well. The gloves are Deadeye gloves. These I did steal from my Deadeye build once I picked up a Godroll pair of gloves. So these have crit damage rolled on them. However, you'd probably be better off with enemy armor damage. I didn't think to change this. It's not the end of the world, but you'd probably see more damage from enemy armor damage than you would from crit damage on this build. But the major stat rolled to firearms, and we've also got health on kill and MMR damage. Health on kill, obviously, you don't necessarily need. It's quite nice sometimes. We're not going to be dealing the killing blow that often, so you may want to change this out. So a good combo is probably either crit chance or crit damage and enemy armor damage alongside the marksman rifle damage. And then the holster, we've got a Sentry holster, nearly maxed out, rubbish armor. And then again, we're running with a first aid self-heal mod. So that's the build. We've already covered the skills and the talents. As I said before, the chest piece is where you get a bit of flexibility in the build, so you can swap it out based on the content that you're doing or what the composition of your team is. So if you've got a healer, you may find more use out of Vigorous, or again, like I said before, if you're doing heroic stuff, you might want extra protection from elites or EDR or what have you, so you're free to swap that out as you see fit. So now let's head to the shooting range and take a look at the different types of stability that we're running on the build and see how well they stack together. So here we are at the range. We've got our 2-piece Deadeye bonus active as well as Sentry, and we're just standing up shooting the closest target, and we can see the stability is pretty good. So we don't have to correct much with the mouse after each shot. The bloom's not great, but that's because we're standing up, and we'll see the difference later on when I'm in cover. But if I take off the Deadeye bonus here and just replace it with some Sentry gloves, see if it's any worse, and it's slightly worse. It's a bit more correction required, not a huge amount, but it is noticeable, and it's certainly more noticeable the further away you are from the target. So I'm going to put the Deadeye gloves back on. That was me spazzing out with the mouse, but you can see it's actually generally pretty stable. If we look at the target in the distance, it's pretty easy to get those stacks up, and this is around 30 meters away, the furthest target. So, and then you can see in cover, the bloom is significantly less. So there's something you might not be aware of. A lot of people don't like cover. I know it's a cover-based shooter. I'm just not correcting here, just to see how bad that stability is if you don't correct. It's not too bad. But yeah, going back to what I was saying, the cover definitely makes a difference. So a lot of people just stand around and shoot, but you're going to get much better accuracy in cover. So I've put the 2-piece bonus now of Striker on as well. So that's an extra 20% stability. And we're starting to hit like a laser now. So there's very little kind of recoil away each time. Even standing up it's pretty good, but obviously when you're standing up you're limited by the accuracy. You can see there the difference. So, and then when it's close by, it's so quick and easy to nail those headshots. And this is without the steady hands talent as well, so it's worth noting that this is just being in cover without steady hands, with the Deadeye 40% initial bullet stability bonus and the Striker 20% stability bonus on top. And don't forget, we're getting a 30% accuracy boost from Sentry. So if we put on steady hands now, we can see the difference that makes. So enter cover, and almost no recoil at all. It's so laser-like. It's the closest thing we're going to get to what the old balanced M1As were like back in 1.2, I think it was. Balanced and accurate, I think it was the bugged out talents. And if we switch back to Sentry, so we're losing the 40% bullet stability. Definitely requires more mouse involvement to bring it back after every shot. And now if we take off the Striker bonus as well, see how that is. Yeah, it's sort of going outside the head almost after every shot, which it wasn't doing before. So this is just to try and compare the different types of stability from in cover and out of cover. You can see though that steady hands is a very, very strong talent to run with. So even without Deadeye or Sentry, when we've got it active, it is still pretty effective. So I'm going to put Deadeye back on. Feels a bit better. It's a bit of an odd one though, because I don't think it feels like it's doing 40% extra stability, but it does make a difference. And then again, if we put Striker on, you can see that we're not deviating much at all from the center point of the head. And this is without steady hands. So if we exit cover, reapply the steady hands talent, and we can absolutely nail the target in the head one after the other, almost without fail. So that's the premise of the build then. So running those 2 stability bonuses alongside Sentry so that we can try and get those stacks as quickly as possible. So let's move on to the gameplay now. So this is a random match-made group of 4. And we happen to have a pretty strong reclaimer in the team, and that always helps. So if you're lucky enough to get a good healer in the team, make sure you stick to him, stay in the green circle, and your life will be very, very easy. Pretty much any mission, I think. So it took about 25 minutes, pretty good run. Here's the footage, hope you enjoy it, and I will see you all in the next video. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Take care.
Opposition agent is down. Agent on your team is down. Requires assistance. Readings indicate an echo nearby. entering a safe area. Warning, you are exiting the safe area. Warning, an agent on your team requires aid immediately. Alert. Friendly division agent is down. signs indicate this area is safe.